Hey, welcome back. Believe it or not, we've already done the hardest part of this drawing, and that was using the spline tool to create this figure 8. Now what we need to do is pattern this around the center point of this circle to create this geometric shape. Now it's actually really easy to do. What we want to do is click on the figure 8, click on it once again, and that will pull up your little rotate arrows here. When you see that, you should see the center point location. Now, this is the center point that the rotate would rotate around. So if we drag this down to the center of our circles, that will allow us now to rotate this around perfectly at a certain angle so that we can create this pattern. So I'm going to undo that rotate there, make sure my center point is still placed here. And I'm now going to go to my Docker panel for transformations rotate. That's Alt F8. You might already see it over here. If you click on the little button, transformations button, I'm now on rotate. I'm going to go to the angle here, and I'm going to type in 360 divided by 8 because that's the total number that we need going around, counting the original. But when we make copies, we don't need to count the original, so we're just going to place a 7 in the copies box and hit apply. And that now gives us the object that we've been trying to recreate. I'm going to do a couple of steps here. I'm going to grab my circles and I'm going to nudge them back over where we want them. And then I'm also going to grab my center circle here, nudge it out of the way. And then I'm going to select all of my object here, all these intersecting lines, and I'm going to use the weld tool to combine this into one object. Now, sometimes when you do this, it can make a mess out of the inside here. In fact, if we double click on this, it's probably going to show, a ton of nodes right here. So what I can do is select all these nodes and say reduce nodes, and that will actually bring it down to a very small number. In fact, I can keep clicking that until it won't reduce it anymore, and that gives it the smoothest curve possible. In fact, I could do that to all of this. If I wanted to select all these nodes and say reduce nodes, that brings it down, kind of simplifies it. Doesn't change the shape at all, but it does make it where the laser is probably going to be easier. Whoops, I accidentally hit delete there. It's going to be easier for the laser to actually cut this because it's not going to have to process every single little node. There's a less likelihood that you're going to have any little stuttering of your laser or any unwanted pauses. So it's just a good way to optimize your drawing. So now what I'm going to do, since I've already got my circle on the inside and I've got everything else that I need here, I'm going to delete all of these lines that we had before, with the exception of my outer two circles. I'm going to delete those. And now I'm going to go to my object manager and I'm going to unlock my bitmap image from earlier, and I'm going to nudge it out of the way. Now what I'm going to do is nudge over the design that I want. Okay? Now that we have this, there's really only one more thing that we could do to make this a little better, and we could go through and we could trim out all of these segments here. Kind of weird how that's showing up, but it's because of all those overlapping lines from when we copied this, I guess. We could trim out these segments here, and that's going to pretty much complete this drawing. There might be a few ways we could optimize this still. Not sure if we could weld this together. I don't know what would happen if we try to do that. Our main details might disappear. Yep, that's what I was thinking. So what we could do, the easiest way would be to take the Smart Fill tool and click inside there once again, nudge it out of the way, and then now we can make this into a hairline. We can do anything that we want to it. We can, if we wanted to engrave it, we can make this black or any other color or shade of gray. But what we would typically do at this point would be to make it a hairline. I like to make my hairlines red. It's just kind of a standard that I do. And then if we wanted to make this black, we could. If we want to make it transparent, we could do that as well. And you see that there's no unwanted lines really anywhere on this drawing. All right, well, that's pretty much this shape. we could lay it over the top. If we nudge it twice, we can see that it pretty much matches up. You can see a little bit of fuzziness there. That's just going to be discrepancies in where we actually placed our B-spline. But for the most part, this is a perfectly redrawn geometric shape. Let me know if you have any questions. Give me some comments, but we'll catch you in the next video series.